Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at a developing case involving a 19-year-old Texas A&M student and cheerleader, Brianna Aguilera. Brianna had traveled um, at the Brianna had traveled to Austin over the weekend for a Texas A&M versus UT football game and attended a tailgate event in the West Campus area. Earlier the following morning, she was found deceased outside the 21 Rio apartments, where police say that she fell from a 17th-story balcony. At the time, the Austin Police Department has stated that there is no indication of suspicious circumstances and that the case is being treated as an open death investigation, pending the medical examiner's finding. Brianna's mother, however, has publicly questioned the circumstances surrounding her daughter's death and is seeking further clarity of the investigators. Tonight, we're going to be talking about everything that we know so far, the outline leading up to the incident, and we're going over different statements and what the mother of Brianna is saying on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is December 3rd, 2025. It is currently now. Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1 second. Is that better? Let me see here. 1 second. Give me two. Okay, hopefully that's a lot better. Good to see you all, my beautiful pearls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. Let's get it started. All right, guys. Good to see everyone in chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we get started, if you don't mind, do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate that very much. And share the live out for extra bonus points. Hello, everyone. Hey, Daphne. Good to see you. Robin, Shelby, I see you. Sherry, good to see you. Sharon, Misty Moonlight, Just Breathe, Pam, Lolo, Seashell, Shelby, Mary, YouTuber, Monica, Deborah, Pam, Lady Gracious, Just Breathe, Catherine, hello, Misty Moonlight, Cindy, Nancy, Sharon, Kim, Deborah, everyone. Hello, everyone. Mary, good to see you. Ash Cash, Robin. Hello, everyone. All right, guys. So this is just a case that's just happening right now. And it's really something that we're going to need to talk about. So let me first show you who we're talking about today. Beautiful, and I mean absolutely beautiful. A girl here who, Brianna Aguilera, 18-year-old Texas A&M cheerleader. She had went to a tailgating place, you know what they do at the tailgates, and when they go to the it's a college thing, right? And she was found deceased outside a Austin apartment building after attending that tailgate party following an A&M versus UT game. Police had initially suggested her fall may have been accidental, but her mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, insists Brianna was pushed or thrown. And we're going to be talking about some timeline inconsistencies, the balcony, how people fall, the heavy drinking narrative that obviously is kind of culture with, students, and why the mother believes it could be homicide. And so let me get you up to date on a few different things. Court TV did a really good piece on this. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. Yeah, Stacy, I think she was, I don't know if she was for this actual game. Okay,
Take a look at this photo. This is Brianna Aguilera, 19-year-old sophomore at Texas A&M, and this weekend was the big game. Texas A&M versus the Texas Longhorns. The game was in Austin, so it's a road game for Texas A&M. So Brianna Aguilera went to Austin and went to the game. And then after the game, she was in an apartment up on the 17th floor. She was found around 1 a.m. on the ground outside of that apartment complex. Her mother was trying to contact her, contacted police, and then around 4 o'clock on Saturday, they put 2 and 2 together and realized that the young woman they had in the morgue was Brianna Aguilera, Stephanie Rodriguez's daughter. And now mom is absolutely heartbroken. Investigators are telling her that it was suicide, that she took her own life. And mom was questioning that, saying, wait a minute, I know my daughter. There was nothing going on in her life. Like, she's 19 years old. She's a sophomore in college. She's a 4.0 student. She's planning a future to go into law. And I was texting with her. And mom said she was texting with her daughter that night, and there was something happening in the apartment. There were like 15 people in the apartment that night. And there was some sort of a confrontation or altercation that took place. And she...
Yeah, there was supposedly something happening within this party. You know, you get a lot of students together, a lot of drinking going on, and a lot of different personalities, and they're young to begin with. Things happen. And we know that time and time again.
She says she has the text messages to prove it. But investigators are still saying no sign of foul play. This is, at this point, I guess, presumed to be no foul play, suicide. Although the investigation is still continuing. Now, we're having some trouble reaching Stephanie Rodriguez right now. Could you imagine what she's going through right now with all of this happening? So hopefully she'll pick up as we attempt to contact her again. We spoke with her earlier today, but I want to bring in our think tank in the meantime. Bob Bianchi, Rick King, Dr. Sue Kornbluth. Dr. Sue, I'll begin with you first of all. I'm skeptical about the suicide. Number one, it seems like it's a very quick conclusion to come to, but I'm thinking about the setting. It's a party. Like she's at someone else's apartment. There's like,
you know, what makes them think so sure that Brianna, this beautiful girl who had her entire life ahead of her, the world was her oyster, that this was an accident? Like, it's just, okay, accident, let's go home. I don't blame mom for this.
I'm sure it's girls and boys.
Especially because there was things allegedly going on in that apartment that night.
Boys, men and women, whatever, that are at this party, 15 people. And that's when you decide that I'm going to end it all. That, to me, that doesn't fit the stories we usually hear about young people taking their lives. What are your thoughts? What is your initial reaction to what we're hearing here?
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have it on my where we don't get commercials. I apologize. Let me do that. 1 second here.
Nice. What are your thoughts? What is your initial reaction to what we're hearing here?
Yeah, when I read this story, my initial reaction was that this was probably not a suicide and that something had happened at that party, perhaps out on the balcony, that maybe the other people in there didn't see. When somebody is pushed over a railing, it doesn't always mean that she's going to have bruises all over her body unless she, started to fight back, but it could have been very quick. This doesn't seem, from what has been presented to us, as a young kid that would be committing suicide at this point in her life. It seems that she was, a happy-go-lucky kid that was enjoying life, was going to the football game.
Now, this is her boyfriend. They've got his face blurred.
Now, of course,
I want to show you some quotes that he has said.
Vinny, we don't know what goes on inside of anyone's head. mentally. So I don't know what was going on inside of her head. I don't even know if her mother does. But to me, it does not smell like suicide. And my heart goes out to her mother for her loss, no matter how this happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific.
And Bob, one thing we're hearing here from the mom was that she had these text messages, and it didn't seem like, at least she's saying, the detectives were not that interested in what she had to share with them. That struck me like, come on, guys, come on. Like, you want all the information.
Absolutely.
Vinny, this is an epidemic problem in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an assistant, you know my history. I was in the homicide squad. We were curious. We cared. When I became the head prosecutor, it got to a point where I said, if anybody says the word suicide in the first 5 minutes of an unattended death, or a death in which there could be other explanations, you will lose your job. They literally would refer to it as the S word, because so many cases were being written off immediately as suicides and medical events because they didn't have the desire to investigate any further. And it sounds just like, and here's the other thing. The pathologists and the medical examiners a lot of times go along. There's this game that's played with the investigators and with the pathologists. How do you know it's a suicide as opposed to an accident, for example? She fell over that thing. How do you know it wasn't nefarious? Why aren't the detectives looking at...
That's exactly what I just said. It's like they just wrapped it up. It's just like, oh, well, this, she wanted to end it. So out we go. How do you know this? How do you know so quickly? Exactly what
these text messages, interviewing. This investigation would take me weeks, maybe even months before I would even approximate coming close to the idea that something like this was a suicide. But you know what? This goes on, Vinny, all the time. I know the public thinks that a lot of times prosecutors are like falsely charging people. They don't realize the epidemic of where they're just trying to close the case. Maybe Rick can confirm this. Close the case and move on. That's what I think is happening here.
Yeah, I was going to say that as a parent, I don't know that either.
And I think there is this that, we don't talk about enough either. A lot of precincts, if you will, departments, they want to have a high rate of closure in the case. And they'll just close them out like that. And again, like this detective was saying, this former homicide detective, it would take weeks, months for him to probably have an answer. Not them.
Either ending is good for me, whether it was suicide or something nefarious. Either way, there's a hole in the heart that's never going to be filled. But here's what I would say, man. I'd like to think that they talked to the 15 people that were in that office or that apartment. I'd like to think that they are using some sort of geolocation, either cell phone or videos, trying to put together what happened in the moments following the tailgate leading up to her time in that apartment building. I'd like to think all those things have happened up till now. It doesn't appear as though it has, and that's what's disturbing.
Yeah, I would also ask them to voluntarily give me your cell phones, because if it's 15 young adults and something happens.
That's right. I would want every damn cell phone. I would want every single person interviewed separately. All of this. How do you wrap something up like this very quickly? I mean, I have nieces and nephews that goes to Texas A&M.
They're going to text each other about it. There'll be some level of communication.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to know what's going on at around 1:00 in the morning. Nobody saw her missing. No one noticed that she was gone. I don't know. Like, why aren't they speaking? Did any of them speak to the mom? Any of the people who were in the apartment?
Right.
Yep.
There's a lot.
I don't know. Was she just gone and none of the 15 people noticed that she was gone and nobody called anyone?
Right.
And there's
right. I mean, nobody checked on this girl at all.
the social history. The mother knows The mother knows this child. Nobody, this is like important to me. And you know what? Jumping off a building for 17 stories, doctor can tell me better than anyone, is not a typical way, I hate to use gender here, that a woman,
No.
I'm not saying all, it's just not normal that all of a sudden you decide to jump off a 17-story.
Correct. This is not a normal way for a 19-year-old beautiful girl for a self-inflicted unaliving to happen. Women generally do it in their beds. I mean, this would be in front of your peers, being found potentially in a very gruesome way. I don't buy it. Now, accident could have happened, but I still don't even believe it's an accident. Justin, she was terrified of heights. Her mom said it. I'm terrified of heights as well. I am petrified of heights. So I guess
Building. It's odd to me.
Yeah. The other part is.
Yeah, actually, Bob and I agree there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He's right.
I think the other part of the investigation, though, is you need to have a toxicology done. I mean, there could be, whether there was drink.
Yeah, I mean, they all should have, first of all, checked on their friend, and when they discovered her, they should have called 911. However, that's not the way it happened here. And they all should have been, drug tested.
Or drugs, or someone has slipped something at a party. We know that happens all the time. There's so many unanswered questions, but to right away say suicide, that's where I'm so troubled, Rick. It's like, how is that the fallback position so quickly? Like, this is just Tuesday. She was getting word on this, over the weekend. Like, initially, oh yeah, it was. What do you mean it was suicide? How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? Was there a note?
No.
Right. Typically, what we want to do is what you'd like to see is some sort of open investigation right now, without calling it something until we get to the bottom of it and do the work we're supposed to do. That's what should be happening. That's what should have happened here.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know, and I don't think anyone knows, other than those who could be involved. If anyone is involved, they would know. But until the investigation is done, until the autopsy, toxicology, speaking to everyone who was in that apartment, asking them for their cell phones, gathering all the data, seeing if stories are matching up or not. And until that is done, and I feel so bad for the mom. Like, she was supposed to be on tonight. We spoke with her earlier today, and she said, "Yeah, all right, I want to speak. I want to go on there. I want to talk about this because I need to shine a light on this case, right?" But what her world is like upside down, inside out right now, and I feel so bad for the family.
Yeah.
But obviously, we'll stay on the story. Big thanks to our think tank tonight, Bob Bianchi, Rick.
I mean, it's just absolutely. I don't get it, to be quite honest with you. I believe that they did another one. Nancy did it as well, but hold on one second. I thought I had another video pulled up. That was 10 hours ago. Bear with me. Okay. Here we go. Pretty sure it's this one. Okay, this is with mom here, and I want you to watch this because this poor mother, number one, is that she's having to fight for just truth.
Went to Austin and went to the game. And then after the game, she was in an apartment up on the 17th floor. She was found around 1 a.m. on the ground outside of that apartment complex. Her mother was trying to contact her, contacted police. And then around 4 o'clock on Saturday, they put 2 and 2 together and realized that the young woman they had in the morgue was Brianna Aguilera, Stephanie Rodriguez's daughter. And now mom.
What? Hold on. This is the one I just played. 1 second. There is something else here. Bear with me. That I wanted to play. Okay, look at this. All right, look at this, guys. This is from KSAT.com. Credit goes to them.
There is still a sense of shock and disbelief from students who live in and around this complex, 21 Rio, where Brianna Aguilera was found dead outside of. And like us, they have lots of questions for Austin police. That's why Brianna's mother is demanding a thorough investigation.
And it's just so unbearable and unimaginable what happened to her that night. And I don't have answers. I don't have any answers.
It's the mother's plea to Austin police. Stephanie Rodriguez wants to know what led to her 19-year-old daughter Brianna Aguilera's death, and so do students who live nearby. Just your thoughts that someone could fall off a balcony and no one report it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. There was 15 people, but that's honestly insane. You know, the people say there's no foul play involved, but it's kind of hard to believe.
Brianna, an A&M student.
Yeah, kind of hard to believe. Yeah.
Originally from Laredo, was at the 21 Rio Apartments in Austin with about 15 people after the Texas versus Texas A&M football game, according to her mom. She adds Brianna fell 17 stories to her death.
It's just kind of crazy because I would be out on a night like that.
The mom says police told her it wasn't anyone Brianna was with who called 911. Instead, it was a bystander who was on the ground level.
I know she was not suicidal, which is what Detective Marshall tried to convince me with. There was, of course, underage drinking going on, but my daughter would not jump 17 stories from a building.
On Monday, Austin police said Brianna's death was not being investigated as a homicide, and that there was no signs of suspicious circumstances. Tuesday, after KSAT asked several follow-up questions, APD said this remains an open and ongoing death investigation as the cause of death has not been determined. Whole life ahead of you. Same situation for Brianna Aguilera. Just your thoughts that she was in a very similar situation.
So like I heard, she was going 3 law too, so she had so much more to like live for, and it's very sad to know that like it happened on a weekend where you should be celebrating.
Brianna's mother also mentioned that her daughter and another girl in the group were fighting the night that Brianna died, that there was messages indicating that. APD tells us those messages are now part of the investigation and that they will continue to question witnesses.
Thank you. Brianna and another girl were fighting. Did they say the night before or that night? I can't remember. But let me just show you a little photo here of this building. This is not the way a girl's going to end it her age. 17 stories. No way. Yep, I agree. Misty Moonlight, a jealous other female. Yeah, were they fighting over a guy? Was a guy involved? What happened? I mean, something is clearly wrong here. Something's clearly wrong here. Yeah, I don't buy it, and I think the police department should be ashamed as them just doing this so quickly.
In my life, to put my daughter to rest.
At just 19 years old, Laredo United High School graduate, Texas A&M student, and aspiring lawyer, Brianna Aguilera's life was cut short. On November 28th, Brianna was in Austin tailgating for the A&M versus UT game. Her mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, tried to get in touch with her daughter and Austin police hours before she was notified of Brianna's death.
No one reached out to me. I was the one that had to place several calls to Austin PD because I couldn't locate her. I knew where her location was at, but what was weird to me and skeptical was that her phone was on Do Not Disturb, and we always had this rule that she was going to go out, she had to have her phone on location on, and she was going to answer or text me at least just to let me know that she was okay. And so that stopped happening.
Austin police telling Stephanie 24 hours had to pass to file a missing persons report. The next morning, Saturday, November 29th, Stephanie says the phone was pinging at the same location as the day before.
Her phone was pinging by a creek, which scared me the most, which made me more scared. And that's when I started putting pressure on Austin PD into having a search team
Hold on, what?
to the
Wait
area
a
and
second,
search,
wait a second, wait a
for her
second.
because search team. And that's when I started putting pressure on Austin PD into having a search.
Stephanie receiving the heartbreaking.
And none of her friends were answering. In a search team going me the most, which made me more scared. And that
Saturday, November 29th, Stephanie says the phone was pinging at the same location as the day before.
her phone was pinging by a creek, which scared.
The phone was pinging by a creek? That's her. Yeah, exactly, Cindy.
Scared me the most, which made me more scared. And that's when I started putting pressure on Austin PD into having a search team going to the area and search,
Yeah,
for
I
her
know.
because I couldn't locate her and none of her friends were answering.
Later that day, Stephanie receiving the heartbreaking news.
Until finally at 4 p.m. I get a call from an officer from Austin PD telling me that, my daughter was found in the morgue.
A bystander discovering Brianna. The heartbreak quickly turned into Stephanie demanding for more clarity into her daughter's death. After meeting with Austin police one-on-one, Stephanie spoke to KGNS on the meeting. She says Austin police believe Brianna fell intentionally, a claim Stephanie does not believe.
They were thinking that it was a suicide attempt or it was an accidental death. And that's what enraged me because I know my daughter. My daughter loved life. She was so close to graduating. We were going to order her Aggie ring this next semester. She was really looking forward to taking her LSAT. She was looking forward to applying to law school. She had a 4.0 GPA at A&M. She was very studious.
Stephanie is asking anyone who knows what happened to her daughter to come forward with
Something's
information.
To see her gone so soon and not have answers and not have anyone take accountability for what happened that night.
Something's very wrong here. Very, very wrong. This was...
Hey, Shauna. Yeah, she was a sophomore in college at Texas A&M studying political science in hopes of pursuing a law degree. Her mother says things just don't add up. Here's what we learned from neighbors we spoke with today. A Texas A&M student is found dead on a sidewalk in downtown Austin. The police are saying there's no suspicious circumstances surrounding the 19-year-old's death, leaving everyone with more questions than answers.
We were just like, okay, so what happened?
The Austin Police Department received reports about an unresponsive person outside of the 21 Rio apartments in the West Campus neighborhood on Saturday morning. Officers arrived to find the body of Brianna Aguilera.
We was actually trying to get into the apartment and the whole street was blocked off.
UT student Dana Rodriguez says Aguilera was staying in a unit across the hall from her on the 17th floor. So were you thinking oh, this is just normal party stuff? Do you hear stuff like that a lot here?
I do, but this was kind of different.
Rodriguez tells us she heard arguing coming from the apartment, which lines up with what Aguilera's mom reported.
There you go. You heard arguing coming from the apartment. Aguilera's mom says there was fighting going on. Also, Aguilera was fighting with this girl either that day or the day before.
Reportedly found on her daughter's phone text messages showing that the teen was fighting with one of the girls she was staying with that weekend.
I heard a lot of running and then we started hearing screaming and stuff. My parents said that it sounded like, something really bad happened, and that's why we were a little suspicious.
APD states that Aguilera's death is not being investigated as a homicide.
Well, get fucking with it.
But Aguilera's mom says She was afraid of heights and wouldn't jump 17 stories. We asked the people who live there if they think it's possible she fell.
I don't think so, because it's pretty like protected, like they got the rail covering and everything.
You need like a chair or something to kind of leverage yourself.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that. Holy shit. Look at this railing, guys. Come on now. That goes up here. You don't accidentally fall. You don't accidentally, and she's not going to do this by herself. Thank you, Bliss. Our local news just shared that her family has hired attorney Tony Busby. Okay, good. I'll also find the. Thank you so much, Bliss. Thank you so much, honey. Look how high that is. No way. No way. I'm not buying it.
It's here to me. It could have been here for her. So that's why I'm like, it's just really confusing to me.
No matter how many times investigators say there's no suspected foul play, Aguilera's mother believes something happened to her daughter, and she wants answers.
My condolences to the family. That's something rough that no parent should really have to go through.
The investigation is ongoing, and we are waiting for results from the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office, which they tell me we likely won't get until next year. I'm reporting live in downtown Austin. Katie Pratt, Sean, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much for that update, Katie.
Mm-hmm. No. No, this girl's got to get justice. It's just that simple. Let's see here. There's just no way. There's just no way.
A mother says her daughter fell 17 stories to her death, but she does not believe it was a suicide. This happened last Friday in Austin, right after the UT Texas A&M football game.
So Brianna Aguilera, who was a Texas A&M student from Laredo, was found dead outside of an apartment complex early Saturday morning. Her mother says that Austin police told her it was a suicide, but she believes there is more to the story.
He told me that they said she jumped. And then he told me that the friends said that they didn't know her whereabouts. Now, there was a fight.
She jumped, and then they didn't know her whereabouts. So if they didn't know her whereabouts, they don't know she jumped.
That happened between my daughter and another girl, and they were all staying in the same apartment that I have actual text messages of, and the detective he disregarded them.
They said, I guess the roommates had said, or the people there had said she jumped, and then they said they didn't know where she was.
Know her whereabouts. Now, there was a fight that happened between my daughter and another girl, and they were all staying in the same apartment that I have actual text messages of, and the detective he disregarded them. I'm traumatized right now at how they're treating this. My daughter deserves justice. I want to know what happened. Why wasn't I notified? Why weren't things done the way that they're usually
She can't even grieve right now.
done in an investigation, especially a death?
She can't even grieve right now. Oh, this was 8 minutes ago. Yep, okay. Have retained 2 high-profile law firm represented in the case. Manuel Aguilera and Stephanie Rodriguez retained San Antonio-based Gemez law firm and the Houston-based Busby law firm to assist in determination and happened to their daughter. The attorney made a quote, said Brianna's family firmly believes there is much more information that needs to be discovered regarding their daughter's death, quote, end quote. Busby said in a post, quote, they feel certain that this was not an accident. This was certainly not suicide. This family deserves straight answers, quote, end quote. Busby said he will host a news conference with Brianna Aguilera's parents to discuss the case on 1 p.m. Friday at the firm's downtown Houston office.
A mother says her daughter fell.
Student from Laredo.
Did we watch this one?
Now, this is Brianna Aguilera. Her mother said during our phone interview today that she called Austin PD looking for her daughter, a missing persons report, 1 a.m. Rodriguez said the detective told her Brianna fell from, she would have to wait. It wasn't until 4 p.m. that day she was told her daughter was in the morgue and had been found by a Good Samaritan at around 1 a.m. Rodriguez said the detective told her Brianna fell from 17 floors and investigators believed it was a suicide. Now, Austin PD has said in a preliminary report, quote, there is no evidence of any suspicious circumstances, and this case is not being investigated as a homicide. Now, her mother, a mental health nurse, said Brianna is not suicidal. She believes one of the 15 people inside the apartment at the time of her death knows something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of inconsistencies with the story. He told me that they said she jumped. And then he told me that the friends said that they didn't know her whereabouts. Now, there was a fight that happened between my daughter and another girl, and they were all staying in the same apartment that I have actual text messages of. And the detective he disregarded them.
So Rodriguez was in Austin today to meet with Austin PD about the case and to hopefully get more answers. She was still waiting the final cause of death by the medical examiner there as well. We asked some follow-up questions about the investigation, but they gave us that same statement as before, that it was not being investigated as a homicide. We will continue to follow this.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, that's going to change. That's going to change. One second. His Brianna Aguilera's boyfriend, Marcel Reed, he has a quote here. This is the hardest pain I've ever faced, and my heart is shattered. Brianna was my greatest light, and losing her is something I still can't fully understand. Football has always mattered to me, but nothing will ever matter more than the people we love. I ask everyone to keep her family in your prayers and send strength during this impossible time. With faith, love, and the support around us, I'm trying to find strength to move forward. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to dig on this and see what more I can find. There's clearly something going on here, and people know some stuff. I'll do some shorts on this as well. The Austin PD keeps saying all the dead bodies in the lake aren't suspicious either. Yeah, Grandma. Yeah, there's something. They don't want to freak out the public or something like that. Yes, she is. Lisa Lee. I don't think he was there. There was someone in the apartment, or she had been fighting with the girl. You know, they may have like set her up or something. It's just speculation, obviously, but she was fighting with this girl over the weekend. I don't know. Guys, I'm going to stay on top of this. I will be back in about 30 minutes or so. And your daughter-in-law goes to Texas A&M. Yeah, I have nieces and nephews that go to Texas A&M, and it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. You should cover it, Daph, as well, if you can, if you got time. Craziness. We'll stay on it. But I'll let you guys know anything I hear. Like I said, I'll do some shorts on this as well, and try to get it out there as much as possible. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Really do appreciate you. I will be back here in just a little bit. Much love, everyone. Thank you so much.